A video about my career in the ski industry. I worked as a snowcat operator. You guys might know that better as a grooming machine, producing corduroy for people to rip up in the morning. So mainly a night job. But my career actually went much further than those operations. I got into the terrain park side of it. I got to work a couple Shaun White events. So, half pipes and quarter pipes and big jumps, slope style, and the development of that. So, a little bit more in depth. This is a photo I took in New Zealand in the Southern Alps, right below Double Cone at the Remarkables. We're at Lake Alta here, and I'm dropping these people off, and they're drilling a hole in the ice, and they're going diving under the ice. Super crazy. I wouldn't drive them out. I made them hike all their stuff out there. They wanted me to drive them out to the middle of the lake, and I said, totally, I'm not doing that. You can see where the snow slid back there in the back. And yeah, this is a PistenBully 400. These cats have subwoofers in them. They're, incredible $500,000 machines cruising around the Southern Alps of New Zealand. Total dream job, guys. So I'm going to try to put some crazy aspects into perspective of what I experienced in that career, just some of the most odd things I experienced in that career. And we'll take it from there. But this is one of my favorite photos. That was a great day. They didn't even give me any. The resort and like the mountain operations guys didn't say, hey, don't go out on the lake or do go on the lake. But I obviously used good judgment because that can end very, very badly. So moving on, next picture. All right, this is a photo of my work visa to work down New Zealand. And you can see here, it says at the below, the holder may work as a groomer operator for Ruapehu Alpine Resorts. So that was one of my first ones. I worked both on the North and the South Island as a cat operator. And I started doing that in Vail, Colorado. But I've done it in many states, throughout the West. But yeah, like I said, moving on. Okay, so this is a Kia. This is a parrot in New Zealand, a tropical bird, right? When most of us think parrots, we think the tropics. But no, this bird lives in the high alpine. Look at, it's not the best photo of him. It's not a flattering photo by any means. But as you can see, he's just chewing into steel. These birds are notorious. And they're only on the Southern Alps of the South Island. That's where you find them. I never saw them at night working on the North Island. But these birds are incredible. I watched these birds lay on their back and use their wings to make turns in the snow. Like they'd watch us snowboarding and skiing, and these parrots will do the same thing. And these parrots are most prolific, I guess, about twilight in the morning, and they tell all the customers, don't leave your windows down in your car. Don't leave anything loose out, unless you want it to get torn up and taken away. And I had some real firsthand experience with these birds. Like you would be cruising around in the middle of the night in the snowcat about 4 a.m. You come cruising around the corner, and one of these things would just waddle out from behind a boulder in the middle of a snowstorm and just kind of see what you're doing. And he's like no way affected by the elements, the snow and all that. He doesn't care. And then, I left. This is a confession. I left the sunroof open. Like, look at you see the snowcats have sunroofs right here. So I left one of those sunroofs open one time, and one of these shitbirds tore the gasket out. And I'm not kidding you. I left this cat parked for like less than 5 minutes, and I was kind of aware. And it was early in the morning and stuff. And yeah, these guys ripped the gasket right out of the snowcat. So incredibly bizarre. Definitely one of the most bizarre things I encountered in my career was the Kia Parrot. And yeah, have a look at these guys, man. They, like, you can just see it on them. They are up to no good. They're a dark green. This photo, like I can say, this is at twilight. This is early in the morning. But you would see them at 4 o'clock in the morning. You would see them when it was dark, like So you'd see the Kia environment just like this. I mean, this is the Kia's environment that I'm on the chairlift right now. That's me. And this is the environment of the Kia Parrot in New Zealand. So, yeah, here you can see some of the terrain park here in the back. That's a snow stick for making snow. And yeah, you would see Kias did a lot of damage to stuff like this. They're hard. I mean, on steel. I mean, they're big. If I could describe the Kia's beak, I've been studying birds of prey since I was 5 years old. I know what they are, and parrots not too much, but the Kia beak is unlike anything you've ever seen. It's like a miner's pick. It's the best way to describe it. That's exactly what it is. And he is not shy about putting it on or just into anything. I mean, yeah, these birds are so pervasive, especially in the morning and even on to about lunchtime. I mean, you can come down to your car and find them messing with your car and stuff. So, yeah, the reason I'm making this video is I just had a lovely conversation. My neighbor, she's moving to New Zealand permanently. She got a job there or something, and I gave her a big heads up. I was like, oh, that'll be a big change for you. I told her I think Americans are kind of hard on themselves and they should go live in another country for a while and realize that it's not. She's trying to. I could tell, like from a moral standpoint, she's think it's better to go live in a country like New Zealand. New Zealand's incredibly flawed, and many things. We're not gonna talk about any of that. I'm gonna go on about my ski industry career, but yeah, moving on. Okay, so this is in the terrain park. There's a PistenBully 400 Park Pro, and we're doing a takeoff, and that's a takeoff over a 35-foot gap, and then there's a landing on the other side, and this stuff all had to be razor sharp in the morning. This is the untouched product right there. About to do some back blading and make sure everything's even, and then go on and do some other work, and then at the end of the night I'll tiller down and I'll corduroy everything out. Here's an awesome shot I took. This is probably like the first 2 days. This little road had to get run over here. And the guy behind me, it was his first winter in a snowcat. And, at this point, I'm like in winter 6 or 7. And, we're going to go clear this road. And he's so apprehensive back there because there's a cliff band over here on this side. But we're pretty, I'm not concerned about even approaching it. But this was a great, it was a high point in my career, hiking out of the cat into the deep snow of the southern Alps of New Zealand, taking this shot. Two beautiful red snowcats coming around the corner. Here's another beautiful shot. The light down there is incredible. This is at twilight, cruising up the park. Got the cat. Probably listening to some beats in there of some kind. A lot of Ghostland Observatory at that time. Yeah. Oddball snowboarders listen to some of the most off the wall music for sure. But yeah, this was a good winter. As you can see, there's a lot of coverage out there. So great winter. Back to the Kias. Definitely the most interesting thing. Working in the ski industry. People talk about what do you see at night, this and that. And the Kia, doing winching and the winch cat, the Kias would even land on the winch cable, like an active winch cable that's like got 4 tons of, it's got, I wouldn't say it has 4 tons. It does have tonnage going, and they're like bouncing up and down on that cable. Super crazy. Super crazy. Yeah, other places I've worked in the States, Wyoming. I ran snowcats in Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. I always feel like I leave one out, but I think I got it right there. I haven't ran snowcats in Montana. I spent the summer in Montana. It was great. I'll definitely jump in the snowcats again. I have 16 winters of doing this, and eventually I felt like my work, which in the terrain parks and stuff, it's really fine work. It's something that you take your time on and you make sure everything's just, perfect in the morning, as perfect as it can be. But my work ended up being, oh, what is it called? It just felt like my work would get sabotaged because to clean. I have to pick up the slack of other people who are being paid, too much. Like they're running a snowcat and they're getting paid up there in the $20 plus an hour range, and for heavy equipment, that's not a lot. It just is what it is. But for snowcats, that's kind of right there in the kind of expert. And if somebody's going around and create, or hey, not even that. Like, let's leave the picking up other people's, but somebody is just not being their productivity. They're not meeting productivity. And when, the sun comes out in the morning and the grooming report gets filled out and stuff, and, this got left out, or, we had to get our guy in the terrain park. We had to abandon the terrain park and go over here. And so that's what it is. It's productivity issue and other people not meeting their productivity quota. And I would say these machines burn like, I don't know, 30 to uh, 18 gallons an hour. I mean, gosh, I don't, it's been a while since I've stared at the computer, but I don't run with the set throttle. I use my foot, and I stay at a very low RPM for most of the night, because if you think about it, in the terrain park on those steeper transitions and stuff, if you throttle, you're just going to kind of rooster tail and displace snow. And on the steeper areas, that's not going to work out well for you. When you till out in the morning, you'll see that there's uneven spots, and you'll see there's spots that the corduroy wasn't even able to fill in. So basically, like, imagine you're painting a house and you didn't do spackle first. That's basically what it is. Or you didn't let the spackle set up. That's the best way. Running snowcats a lot like, variants and levels, and yeah, it's very fine work, and it's a lot of fun. And I think, I was told, one of the most rewarding places I worked was in Wyoming, Grand Targhee, out in front of Grand Teton. And the owner and mountain manager, let me know, like, hey, you kind of wrote the playbook for us over here in the and how we're going to handle our terrain parks from now on. And so that was, that was kind of like one of my last hurrahs, as I kind of, I helped a resort, progress forward, and I made it much easier for them to see that it's not very complicated. And, even if, even for the next guy in the door, if you just kind of follow these guidelines, I think you'll be really happy with your product. So it really helped me being from Texas. I know the biggest name in the snowcat industry, guys on a first name with Sean White, and everybody, very big name in snowcats. He said what helped him is not being from not being from the ski resorts. He was from South Carolina. And I think it played the same too for me being from Texas. Like, people were much more just, I don't know, just new blood, I guess. So yeah, that's my snowcat career in a nutshell. And the Kias being the craziest aspect. Who would ever know a high alpine mountain parrot that just destroys anything that it can possibly figure out on destroying. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.